So, hello everyone. Welcome to this Scorpio Pre FullMoon meditation. The exact moment of the full moon will be at 10:02 a.m. GMT. Some sources say 10:03, which is about, 15 hours from now, something like that. So let's start by taking a brief look at the astrological chart. This full moon is at 16 degrees of Taurus, opposite the sun in Scorpio. And you see there's a lot of activity in these two areas, these two stelliums and opposition. Of this opposition, DK says, in the polar opposite of Taurus, Scorpio, the personality is humbled and brought to grips with the soul. In that sign, the personality is, quote, occultly killed and then resurrected into air and light. Desire in Taurus becomes spiritual aspiration in Scorpio. The darkness of the experience in Scorpio becomes illumination in Taurus. For it must never be forgotten that where the pairs of opposites are concerned, they gain and profit from each other. For there is a direct line of force and of contact between the two. This is a fact which is seldom recognized. So, of course, that goes for all the six axes of the astrological zodiac. The signature aspect for the full moon last month in Libra, a square between Saturn and Uranus, representing the closing of one cycle and the beginning of a new one, is still very much with us. In fact, the energy has been intensified by Uranus's conjunction with the moon. But this and all the other aspects in this month's chart are overshadowed by the energy of the total lunar eclipse, which will be occurring during and just after the exact moment of the full moon. The theme of closure, of culmination and completion present at every full moon is greatly emphasized by lunar eclipses. These eclipses also tend to unveil secrets, since Scorpio is in many ways the sign of secrets and secretiveness. This aspect of the lunar eclipses will be very much in play. This energy of unveiling compels us to go into the dark in order to find that which needs to be brought into the light. This is true both individually, in our group work, and especially at this time for humanity as a whole. This is a North Node lunar eclipse. Eclipses only take place when the moon is in proximity to either the North or South nodes. So though this eclipse, as always, marks an ending, it is an ending that will clear space for a new beginning, since the North Node represents the future collective destiny of humanity. Thus, the eclipse strengthens the energy of change indicated by the Saturn-Uranus square. Also, these are outer planets, and therefore this square is being held for some time and increasing the intensity of this cyclic change, right? And it also, because they are outer planets, it tends to apply to humanity as a whole. Okay, and these two are part of a powerful T-square representing 3 points of the fixed cross. The cross of reorientation, about which DK says, it is a cross of blinding light, of fiery pain, of bitter woe, and yet the cross of liberation. Saturn works to keep this fixed pattern in place, whereas Uranus, whose energies are directed by its conjunction with the North Node, works to tip the balance towards the new cycle, the inevitable new cycle. This is literally a seismic astrological signature, which can manifest as literal earthquakes, also as social uprisings, as financial crises. But for the disciple, it can mean, it can give us a way for breaking the grip of personality control and entering a new cycle of soul awareness. In this context, there's a tremendous opportunity available through the energies of this T-square and the lunar eclipse that overshadows it. Now, these aren't easy energies, but they, if they're embraced, they can lead to tremendous opportunities for change. Exoterically, the full moon and the lunar eclipse happen on election day in the US. Should be interesting to see what these volatile energies produce. You may want to join any one of a number of groups that will be meditating during this time, and in order to bring a little sanity into the process. Okay, let's take a quick look at Scorpio itself, whose exoteric keywords are let Maya flourish and let deception rule, and whose esoteric keywords are warrior am I, and from the battle I emerged triumphant. In his 2019 pre-full moon webinar, Michael reminds us that Scorpio rules the fourth, or human hierarchy, where our true selves, the human monads, also called imperishable jivas, are found. It also, Scorpio also rules the Buddhic plane. It's the fundamental sign of discipleship. And thus, the de facto sign of the death of the personality, which for a disciple means reorientation that allows the soul to dominate rather than the personality. But in order to bring this about, the disciple must first descend into the depths of his or her psyche in order to make conscious one's unconscious, unexamined personality trait. To help us in this excavation, we have Pluto, both as a special ruler of Scorpio and as a dominant force in preparing for the first initiation. This dive into darkness in order to find that which must be brought to light is also the nature of the energy of the total eclipse of the moon, especially one happening in Scorpio. So it's all lined up for this seismic move. I mean, the energies involved, especially, with Uranus and Saturn, it's all set up for this seismic shift from the old paradigm to the new. How we make that shift is up to us, both in our personal lives and for humanity as a whole. So let's take a look at this quote from DK on the tests that must be undergone in this sign. He says, the three tests in Scorpio concern the three aspects of the human being as they fuse and blend upon the physical plane. They are, first of all, the test of appetite. This appetite is the natural predilections and tendencies which are inherent in the animal nature, and these are mainly three: sex, physical comfort, and money, as concretized energy. They are, secondly, the tests connected with desire and the astral plane. These are subtler in nature, producing automatic effects upon the physical plane. They are not inherent in the animal nature, but are imposed by the desire nature and are again three in number: fear, hatred, and ambition or desire for power. Then there are, thirdly, the tests of the lower critical mind, which are pride, separativeness, and cruelty. Remember that the worst kind of cruelty is not of a physical nature, but is more mental in character. Okay, let's take a brief look at the Heraclean labor for Scorpio, entitled Destroying the Lernaean Hydra, whose 9 heads are associated with these tests that we just went through. If there is a single labor that epitomizes Hercules' struggle, it is this one. Though the myth focuses on the physical battle, the labor actually unfolds in 3 phases. First comes a recognition within oneself that the Hydra exists. For eons, it hides itself in the caverns of the subconscious. Coming into this conscious awareness requires the setting up of an inner observer charged with the task of assessing one's thoughts, feelings, speech, and actions with an attitude of compassionate detachment. The second phase of the labor requires that we take responsibility for the fact that the Hydra manifests through our personalities. In order to engage in the battle itself, to take on the Hydra and defeat its influence, we must become familiar with those regions of soul consciousness that lie beyond thought and feeling, the airy realm, into which we will eventually be able to lift the Hydra. This lifting, which deprives the Hydra-like unconscious personality of its familiar environment, is tied to all phases of walking the path, from probationary purification up through the 3rd initiation, when we will finally free ourselves from the grip of the great illusion. And with that, let us begin our meditation. So, spines erect in order to free the energy etherically, and start using regular breathing, which has the effect of calming and focusing the physical. Check in with your astral body and calm any emotions there. And now let us lift our focus onto the mental plane and enter into the presence of the soul. As we deepen this contact, feel yourself moving into a field of light, of love, and of spiritual power. Now, let us merge ourselves as individual souls into a deep sense of the group soul. We can facilitate this merging by visualizing a ring of white light with each of us as spokes within that wheel of light. And at the center, the Master Dual-Kul, who is one with the group soul. Now, in a conscious act of further extension, let us visualize our group soul merging into the one soul of humanity. In this act of inclusion comes the realization that there is no my soul and thy soul. In fact, it is in the living awareness of this unified soul field of consciousness that we can truly say, not is, but me. Now, bringing forth the will aspect of the soul, visualize a potent point of tension within the mental unit, demonstrating as the color of your soul ray. This point of tension will form the foundation of your antakarana. If you don't know your soul and personality rays, use the second ray color indigo. Let us now visualize our dual-colored individual antakaranas, made up of the colors of our personality and soul rays, connecting the mental unit with the monastic permanent atom. This is a exercise is using the imagination to visualize this connection. As this connection grows stronger, visualize our individual antakaranas merging into the group antakarana, which glows with all the 7 colors, but primarily the deep indigo blue of the second ray. Visualize it reaching up into the realms of the spiritual triad. Now, inwardly and in continued identification with the group soul, affirm the great word of power, I see the greatest light. From the point of group tension on the mental plane, imaginatively project a line of vivid, living white light into triadal realms. This group light is met by a light from on high. In the presence of this great light of the spiritual triad, let us as a group attempt to feel the presence of the Great White Brotherhood, the Lodge of Masters, the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Now, with heartfelt gratitude, let us offer our salutations to the Masters and to the head of the hierarchy, the Christ. Salutations to the Buddha, the Lord of light and wisdom. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. To the Master Moria. To the Master Kudhumi. And to the Master Dual Kul. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Now, as a group, let us lift our thoughts to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known. And with deepest reverence and in all humility, attune to the presence of Sanat Kumara, standing at the center of Shambhala. It is in this heightened state that we can come to realize that Shambhala is the planetary center through which the energies of the constellations and the planets enter into our world to be distributed to all living beings on Earth. Now, let us align with the spiritual qualities emanating from the three planetary rulers of the sign Scorpio. Mars as exoteric ruler, bringing forth the courage to face all outer opponents. Mars again as esoteric ruler, instilling in us a capacity to confront the much more difficult, devious, and even dangerous inner opponent, which we call the dweller on the threshold. Mercury, Scorpio's hierarchical ruler, conveying the power of illumination, and also Pluto, a special ruler in relation to Scorpio, giving us the power to destroy that which binds our consciousness to illusion, to glamour, and to Maya. So let us first turn our attention to the potency of Mars, which as Scorpio's exoteric ruler bestows the will to confront and to overcome the enemy without, to do battle for the good and true in the outer world. And then Mars again as esoteric ruler, which gives us the courage to take on the far more lethal enemy within. Let us take a moment to contemplate the nature of the Martian will, which bestows the steadfast determination to fight all vice and negativity, all that impedes us from our journey into the light of day. Let us, as a group, open our consciousness to the impressions borne upon the Martian stream of energy. Consider how you, your group, this group, could best channel the energy of steadfast courage and determination into the human kingdom. Imagine this group imbued with these divine qualities, transmitting them to all humanity. Now let us shift our focus to Pluto, a special ruler of Scorpio, and consider its ability to kill out all energy patterns which stultify and suffocate the consciousness, to terminate all that blocks our realization of the soul. Visualize the sharp shears of Pluto severing, once and for all, the threads of attachment to the unreal. Consider how you and the groups that you are affiliated with could best channel Pluto's liberating energy. And let us, as a group, actively channel this energy for the betterment of all the energy systems on our planet outwards to humanity. And finally, let's shift our focus to Mercury, Scorpio's hierarchical ruler. Consider its quality of transcendent light, the light of Buddhi, of pure reason. Now visualize this light shining into the miasma that we call the dweller on the threshold, both your own and that of humanity, revealing it for the illusory phantom that it is. Visualize it devitalizing this phantom through an illuminated understanding of its unreality, and thus opening the way for soul awareness. Imbued with this stream of transcendent light, consider how you and the groups you're affiliated with might best channel this luminous awareness that comes to us from the Mercurian stream. And now let us as a group transmit this light of pure reason to all humanity. Now let us lift our focus to the solar logos, which expresses itself through our sun and the solar system. Consider the fact that we are ever immersed in the potency of love wisdom that pours through all the planets of this system, through Shambhala, and through every monad, soul, and personality on planet Earth. Let us now lift our attention to the constellation Scorpio, radiating its particular quality of light. BK describes this light as, quote, Scorpio, the light of day. This is the place where three lights meet, the light of form, the light of soul, and the light of life itself. They meet, they blend, they rise. Consider Scorpio's profound relationship to the fourth ray of harmony through conflict, and also via Mars and Pluto to the sixth and first rays. Now let us consider and deeply ponder the mantram, the esoteric mantram for Scorpio. Warrior I am, and from the battle I emerge triumphant. Finally, let us together visualize the following energetic downflow, starting in the constellation Scorpio, flowing down through the solar logos at the heart of the solar system into Shambhala. then on down through our monads into the hierarchy, through the great Lord, the Christ, and into and through the ashram with which you believe yourself to be increasingly associated. Then on down through the soul of this group and the groups with which you are affiliated. And finally, into your spiritualized personality. We'll just sit with this downflow from Scorpio into the solar system, through the ashram, into each one of us that make up this group. Now, while as a group holding this high alignment, let us, through the eyes of love and compassion, consider the world situation and imagine the many ways in which the redemptive energies of Scorpio, of the lunar eclipse, might uplift and redeem humanity and the planet. While still holding this high alignment, let us, with hands upraised and intoning the Om 3 times, send a group blessing into humanity so that it may rise to its true spiritual potential and thus fulfill the divine plan. We'll finish with a great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.